Well, the first experience was in the church. You know, that's where I really learned how to communicate with the audience.
I wanted to ask you about that too.
And you know, because my pastor, he's gone now. Well, my ex-pastor, he's gone now, but he didn't know much about, didn't know anything about music, but he had a really good instinct for what could work. Mm-hmm. You know, if we were getting too self-indulgent playing in the church, you know, we'd be getting into ourselves.
Yeah.
Not really focusing on
The message
and communicating with the audience. He'd be sitting down in his chair. You know how the pastors have those chairs in the pulpit. He's sitting in his chair, and we'd be over here, and we'd be doing our thing. And if it wasn't happening, he'd look over in your direction. And he wouldn't say anything, but you know, he'd just give you that look. And then if you didn't get it, then he would stand up to behind the podium or the rostrum, whatever you call those things, and he said, "All right, you guys, stay in the spirit." That would be his thing.
Stay in the spirit.
Stay in the spirit. That meant don't get too self-indulgent.
Yeah.
Stay in the spirit. Stay in the spirit. And later on, I took that to mean don't forget that it's not just about you.
Yeah.
You're playing for these people out here. You know.
Yeah.
You gotta, give them something to go home feeling good about. Stay in the spirit.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't get it, he would make you take your instruments off, put down the guitar, or get up from the drums or from the piano, get on the altar and pray for forgiveness.
Really?
I'm not kidding you.
Did you have to do that ever?
Yeah, I had to do it a couple of times. I had to do it a couple of times, but that was, some good training.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You had to. You cannot forget about the listener. The music wasn't that sophisticated. In fact, we didn't even have any. The only instruments that we had in the church that I grew up in early on was I remember seeing someone play the drums, and then there was an old lady who do you know what a washboard is?
Sure, yeah.
She used to play a washboard. She had a washboard and a coat hanger. A real primitive homemade instrument. And she would take this coat hanger and she'd beat out these rhythms on the washboard and would be really grooving and swinging. And then there was I remember seeing a person playing a pot with a wooden spoon, and you had all of this rhythm and people singing. You would get a group of those old ladies who would sing these spirituals, and it would be so moving. You'd see deacons, these big burly deacons, they'd be moved to tears hearing these old ladies sing these songs. And even at the age of, and I'm like 3 and 4 years old at the time, and even at that age, I was aware of the various emotions and reactions that you could get from people from playing music, and I was aware of that at that young, tender age.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating.